Welcome back to the circle. If you didn't know, now you do. This is Lostboys Cypher Circle, the place where we bring artists of all kinds, whether you be a poet, a rapper, a musician, an author, a comedian, or a visual or digital artist. All are welcome here. This is a safe place for artists, a safe haven to be yourself, free of ridicule, free of any kind of judgment. So we ask, first of all, that everybody just be respectful to one another, and that is pretty much the only rule. We welcome art of all kind and about any given topic, but because it is, I like to call it our kind of therapy session, it is our place for us to just come let our inner demons out. I do give a quick trigger warning before every show. That is not to say that everything we talk about is going to be horrific. It is just to say that you never know what is going to trigger one person versus another person from day to day, because your experiences are different than someone else's experiences, and what they've been through is different. So you never know what is going to be hard to listen to or talk about for any given person. I always say that whether you're a guest or an audience member, feel free to click out at any time and come back another time. But besides that, hope we can have a good night tonight. And yeah, what's up, bro? How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Got a little bit of a stressful week, but how's it been going for you?
I feel you on the stress, more just like a little overwhelmed. I've been feeling lately that I'm not as organized as I could be. I've been trying to get more organized with the show, and that's been a big part of us coming back and doing what we're doing with this new format. Also, just in my everyday life, just okay, when am I going to have time to spend time with my family and write, and just management of time is something that I've been struggling with this past week or so. And it's just, yeah, that's pretty much how I've been.
I feel it. I think I mentioned it last week or whatever, but I've been helping my grandfather rebuild my mom's porch and whatnot. And he's supposed to come back tomorrow so that we can continue with it. Come to find out, he's got to go to the town hall and get a permit. It's just turning into a problem and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
I like to have something to look forward to. And when it comes to getting myself something nice, I like to feel like I earned it. So I've been trying to save up for a new laptop. This laptop that I've been running the show with now for 3 years. I've actually had it for probably triple that. I probably almost had it for 8 or 9 years now. It's more of a high school laptop, which is the age I was when I got it, really. Just like at the tail end of high school. My mom got it for me, so I don't want to get rid of the laptop. It was a gift from my mom. But at the same time, running the show, doing what I do now, it's kind of time for an upgrade. I've been looking at one. For all you nerds out there, or you computer nerds, I'm just getting into kind of all the lingo and what it exactly all is. But it's got a Ryzen 5 7535HS, and it's got, for the graphics card, an RX 6550M. It's got 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. So basically what all of this means is the bottom line of gaming. So I can play games with it, but pretty much top of the line for anything work related, whether it be editing songs, editing videos, streaming, recording, just watching Netflix.
Yeah, it's a bit higher end than mine. I'm running a Ryzen 3 7000 or whatever, so it's a little bit higher than mine.
Yeah, listen, man, part of it is my mentality of go big or stay home. If you're going to fucking spend the money, you might as well. And by the way, guys, this is the value for all you computer nerds out there. You'll probably realize that this is the value of about $1,000 laptop. I'm finding it for less than $700 with a $70 protection plan. So by itself, it's only like $570, which is almost half the price of what it's worth. That's through Walmart. Best Buy is actually selling it for $880, and HP is selling it for $1,200.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what kind of crack Walmart's smoking, or whether the other two stores are just on meth, but hey, I'm getting it for a good deal. But here's the thing. I'm making myself wait. I'm making myself save up the money so I don't break the fucking bank to do it, and make myself take care of my rent and all that shit first. Rent, food, toilet paper, that kind of thing. And make sure that I have that locked down week by week before I go out and spend, so that it feels like I'm saving in little increments over time. Yeah, I've been saving for that, and I'm really excited. I'm probably going to get it about next week, so I'll have it in about 2 weeks because it takes a week to ship. And yeah, man, I'm excited for my laptop. What's been popping with me, But if you want, about
Yeah,
now,
we're in it.
get into our what's popping. All
Cool.
right, let's do it. I'm kicking off the what's popping this week because you did it on the last show.
Yep.
So I've got a list here starting with some Lostboys community shout outs, and I've segmented them into categories as best as I could. So for shows other than ours, we have New Eurekan Poets Cafe, online show every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Elemental the Poet. Go check that out on the New Eurekan Poets Cafe website. We have Poetry Life League, and make sure you go vote for our girl, Lady Crucible. We have Bars Battle Rap League. That's hosted by Tom Bland, who is a new member of our community. And he actually messaged me, and he's definitely going to be a guest on the show coming up pretty soon here. But yeah, he hosts rap battles and shit like that. So make sure you go check out Bars. That's BARZ Battle Rap League. And then finally, for shows, we have the Immersive Experience podcast hosted by Desi Lou. Make sure you go check out our girl Desi Lou. We're getting into the next category, which is artists. I segmented them mostly for my own peace of mind because it helps me, or like I said, I've been trying to be more organized. But for artists, we have Cage C. If you don't know Cage C, welcome to the circle, because if you've been here before, Caleb Cage, make sure you go check him out on Facebook at Caleb Cooksey. That's Kooksey. And then he posts stuff on our Lost Boys page as well on Facebook. And then he's also on TikTok at CageC790. So make sure you go check that out. We also have our girl Skedaddle. Skedaddle did our original artwork. My sister, some of you may know her if you've been frequent on the show. She's been on here a couple times. My little sister took Skedaddle's artwork, edited it a little bit, and gave us that. Shout out to my sister and the What's Poppin' team. But yeah, go check out Skedaddle and her artwork. Amazing artist. We've had her on the show many times. And like I said, she made that artwork and is one of my favorites she's ever fucking made. One of, honestly, obviously I'm biased because it's my logo, but one of my favorite pieces of art. You can go check her out on Instagram at x.skedaddlesart.x. That's x.skedaddles.art.x. Next, we have Niela McSwain. She is a very frequent poster on our Lost Boys Facebook page. She posts maybe once a day at least, and all of her poems are fantastic. We're actually going to be having her on tonight, so give it up for Niela McSwain, and go check her out on TikTok at PoetryRose42 and on Instagram at PoetryRose1. Next up, which is actually our second guest tonight, is Poetless Shakespeare. We call her Poetless. She has 2 books out on Amazon right now called DNA and DNA number 2, The Results. DNA stands for Don't Never Assume. So go check that out on Amazon and stay tuned because we will have her on the show right after this. And next we have Exoskeleton. Make sure you guys go check out Exoskeleton on SoundCloud at EXO. That's EXO_skeleton. And then on YouTube at Red, all in capital letters, Designs, spelled DESYGNZ, Red Designs on YouTube. Next, we have Laurelyn Sandez. If you've been a longtime watcher of the show, you might remember her from one of our first 10 episodes we ever did. She was on back in the day, but hasn't been on since. We'll definitely get her back here for you.
Yeah, definitely. I was on one of the episodes or whatever with her back in the day, but also we're friends on our personal Facebooks as well. So I see a lot of her posts, and she posts a lot of her, not only her poetry and stuff, but she does a lot of projects. She has actually inspired me and commented on a lot of the early stuff that I was posting as well. So I definitely want to give her a shout out. And I'm going to be reaching out to her myself here very soon to get her on the show, hopefully.
Yeah, she's always been super supportive and super helpful. She's a great lady, amazing poet, really raw poetry. Absolutely. Make sure you guys go check her out on Facebook at Laurelyn Sandez or on TikTok at Laurelyn43. We have a few more. James Hamilton. Make sure you go check him out on Facebook at James Hamilton. He's a street performer and spoken word artist. He performs in cafes and clubs and on stages all across the country. You guys can go follow him on YouTube at James Hamilton 8243. That's 8243. On Instagram at James Hamilton Author. And then in September, if you're in the LA area, he'll be touring a bunch of venues in LA. And he also has what is called a busker pass for Santa Monica Boulevard. If you don't know, a busker pass is a pass that is given to someone who can legally perform on the street. Because if not, then it's considered loitering and you can get in trouble for that kind of thing. So it's a busker pass for him to legally perform on the street. I actually had to look it up because I did not know what a busker pass was, but there you go. If you're in the Santa Monica, LA area in September, make sure you go check him out. And also, if you're in the Bell, Montana area in December, specifically December 6th, at 7 p.m., he will be at the OCA Arts Center in Bell, Montana. So make sure you guys go check that out. And next up, we have longtime friend of the show, might have seen him before, Chris Clark. He is an amazing poet. He's got some great shit. I just checked out his YouTube when I was putting this What's Poppin' together, and he had a lot more recent stuff than I had realized. So definitely go give him a sub on YouTube at Poetic Excursions. His newest piece out on there is Death as a Girlfriend. That just came out as of recording a few weeks ago. And then you can also go check him out on Insta at the Poetic 1Z. Now, for authors, which I have already mentioned a couple that you can find their books on Amazon. But starting off, we have the famous, the infamous, the amazing, the talented PR infidel, Patricia Ray, who writes anthropomorphic animal books that are satirical. They're satire commenting on the world and politics and conspiracy theories of all shapes and sizes. These books are called Tales of American Idiocy and Conspiracy Crew, The End is Meow. So make sure you guys go check those out. We also have The Ono, who was on our last episode with Miss Desilu, has 6 books on Amazon right now. So make sure you guys go check all of his books out. A couple of them are Midnights. Now That's What I Call Poetry, and Eras. We also have Robert Foster, who writes horror fantasy. And we have Craig Island, which is about a island prison of supernatural creatures, and Morgan's Mount, which I'm actually not quite sure what it is about, or I have a vague idea, but I don't want to misspeak. So just make sure you guys go check it out for yourself on Amazon. I've bought Craig's Island. Fantastic book so far. He has been on the show multiple times before, and he will be back again soon. He is abroad right now. Then Chris Foster, no relation to Robert, has a class called Breaking Barriers, which is a class for writers and how to handle writer's block. That is on Instagram weekly between 8 and 9 Eastern. You can follow him on Insta at original_poetry. That's POETREE. And then on Linktree at Poetry Roots. Roots is spelled with a Z. Last, please make sure you go check out David Wilson. He is an award-winning horror author. You can go check his website out at twoseasons.org. He's been on, I believe, 2 or 3 shows before. And again, he is someone I am in contact with to come on more. He's got a few books out on Amazon, the latest of which is called The Devil's Trilogy, which is actually a 3-book type saga that incorporates 3 chilling tales into this one anthology. So make sure you guys go check that out. Now, for our next category, some bands that are in our area that I am in contact with trying to get on the show. Crescendo's Gate is someone that I saw at a festival a few years ago that I've been following ever since. They have an EP called the CGEP on Spotify right now. That's alt rock, female singer. Think like Evanescence, Emily Armstrong, Linkin Park kind of thing. Also, Pointless Culture, who has already agreed to come on the show. We're just trying to figure out a date. They just released their album. I believe it was like July 25th or 28th or something like that. That's on Spotify and actually all streaming platforms. You can go check that out. That's indie punk, alternative, and melodic grunge. And that is in their own words. Their main goal is to be real and beyond the status quo, which I really connect with that message. And then just a list of a few that I've been keeping an eye on as well is First to 11, a cover band that's been out for a long time. I think it's really unique the way they do it. Really cool. So make sure you guys go check them out. Nick D and Connor Price, two phenomenal rappers that I've been following since actually Nick D's, but since before you and me have been following him since before he was even doing rap when he had a podcast.
The Friday podcast. Yes.
Yep. Now he's killing it. He's got mad bars. Him and Connor Price have teamed up, and they have 2 albums out now, the newest of which is Iconic. So go check that out. And then last, but certainly not least, we have a country singer that I have been listening to for a while, but you guys may not know. One of his most famous songs is You Can Buy Dirt. It's by Jordan Davis, and he's a phenomenal country singer. And he's got a new album coming out August 15th called Learn the Hard Way, and a single called Turn This Truck Around from that album. So that is it for our musical shout outs. And the only other thing I have on my list before we wrap up What's Poppin' is go check out artfight.net. It is a website where artists get together and battle with pictures that they've drawn. And it is a point-based system. Really interesting, really cool how they do it. They don't judge it. It's a point-based system, and it's all freedom of expression, freedom of choice as far as the drawing. So really cool concept, really cool website. Go check that out. And I believe that is all I have for our What's Poppin' tonight.
So real quick before we move on, we have 3 new members that just joined us in the circle since we last filmed. That's Morgan Marie, Dylan Didio, and Hunter DeMarsh. Now, I know all of them personally, but Hunter DeMarsh, I was actually in contact with earlier, and hopefully if everything lines up, we'll be able to get him on the show here soon as well. He does music along the lines of like Slaughter to Prevail sort of type. Not quite screamo, but sort of in that realm. And then my buddy Dylan has been a very long time friend, very supportive of me and just everything that we do here. So definitely glad to have them all on as well.
Yeah, you know what? I have met Dylan, my bad. I know Dylan. Cool kid. I definitely like Dylan. Yeah. That being said, guys, the very last thing on our list for What's Poppin' is, of course, Lostboys Cypher Circle. Every 2 weeks, you'll get this full-length episode here, and that's on Saturday at 9 a.m. And then catch us for What's Poppin' every Monday, 9 a.m. With that being said, we have one of our guests in here tonight. Please welcome Niela!
How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Definitely good to have you with us.
Are you guys?
Not too bad.
That's
Good to be back.
Yeah,
back.
that's for sure.
Welcome back. For those of us who know you, we're thrilled to have you back. For those of us who don't know you, though, if you'd like to just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, by all means.
Okay, I'm Niela. My name spelled backwards is Alien. That's always cool for people to know. I go by the name of Poetry Rose, and I write epic poetry. I also just wrote a book called Symphony's Quest, and that's based on a book series I actually want to do, and it's about the poetry that I go through with mental illness. So I'm a huge supporter of mental illness. I have a TikTok Poetry Rose 42, and I also do Facebook and same name, Niela McSwain. That's my poetry page, and I just post a lot of poetry and try to hit people with epic words, I guess you can say.
And you certainly do. First of all, something that we've been highlighting actually for the past few weeks in our What's Poppin' segment is the fact that you are one of the most frequent posters on the Lostboys Facebook page. According to Facebook, you are the most frequent poster ahead of me even. So you really keep it going. You really definitely keep it going. So yeah, thank you for that.
Small hiatus. Words are always there, so I always look to get inspired by anything.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I've talked a little bit about it. I won't go into it too deep, but I took a little bit of a hiatus too, as many people know. And sometimes you need to. Sometimes you got to take that step back to get your head right and make sure that you have a clean head on your shoulders and you're thinking straight. There's nothing wrong with taking a mental health break. There's nothing wrong with taking just a breath sometimes.
Exactly. I noticed a lot of our friends. I just found out that a girl on Facebook, Allie's Poetry, she called me, and I really didn't know that. And that was really hard because she was very encouraging in my poetry and things of that nature. So I definitely dedicate this to her.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you had a couple of pieces that you had sent me that you were going to do for us tonight. Which one did you want to do first?
I'm going to do Existence Without Thought. Okay, this poem is called Existence Without Thought. There's a place inside me you met without any knowledge of me. Maybe from afar you observed, or maybe you just seen. because you have a place like that too. I hide myself in a location that happens to be my childhood, what wasn't nourished, what I hide and what I raised my kids with, which is my trauma, the absence of love. So I love my creative wonderland that loves to see others play and dance, loves to watch the success I would have made, just I built a house for next time. So my land will be there when called to live again on earth. I hope to not repeat the no love test, but just in case, I'll know how to gain what I didn't by loving the house I built so much that I actually want others to see it. So this time, if it's not over, or next time, I will shine an existence no one could believe was hidden here. That poem is called Existence Without Thought.
Wow, that was really good.
Thank you.
I love specifically your tone and cadence always gets me in this spot where I'm being introspective of my own thoughts and feelings, and you do it in such a short span of time, right? That poem wasn't very long, but it was deep. You draw people in and make them think not just about the world around them, but about their inner world. So very well done.
Thank you. I wrote it just with thoughts of this is when I was taking my hiatus and I was just thinking about, do I continue? Do I keep going? Am I washed up? Those type of things that you always think about as an artist out there trying to show your work. And so I had to think about my trauma and I had to think about all the things that affected me and why I write the way that I do, because I internalize a lot of things versus vocalize a lot of things. And so that's where all the writings come from. It comes from my internal thoughts and what I internalize versus what I actually say. So now I bring it out in poetry.
I can definitely say that I appreciate that about you and about your writing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I've often said that we as artists are, for lack of a better word, universal batteries or conduits for universal energy. Our job as writers and as artists, really of any kind, is to take in the universe, digest not only our own experiences, but the energy that is flowing around us, and then put it back out in our art. I say batteries because we store the energy and then we distribute it back out into the universe.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like to think about it, is artists are just conduits for, not necessarily, because I'm not necessarily very religious, I'm not necessarily talking about God, but at the same time I'm not talking about God either, because
Right.
my view on God is that God is the universe, is energy, is the sum total of the human existence. And so in that vein, I feel like we are channeling God, but more in the sense that we are channeling the power of creation, right? Energy that made the mountains, the energy that made the trees, the thing that went boom and there was a bunch of planets swirling around the sun. A piece of that energy is a piece of what we channel every time we write or we make music or we sit down to make a piece of art. That is, I believe, what we're channeling. And that is, again, coming from someone who is not religious in
Yeah.
the typical sense.
Yeah. I'm a spiritual person, so I'm not religious either. And I just believe in universal power. I believe in the karma. I believe in you manifest your own life, your own goals, and you manifest what the God essence wants for you to manifest. And it's put in your brain. And then when you're a writer, you're an observer of the world and you observe everything about the world and you observe people and you observe people's personality traits, observe people's mental, you're just observant and it comes out in your pen and you heal people with that and you make people think with that. And when you're a writer, I just believe writers are special people. I truly believe that because we see everything. Just in my time of taking a break and stuff like that, I never noticed how much I observe people versus vocalize what I want to say. And I just observe their personalities. I observe their laughter. I observe how they are. I observe children and things of that nature. The little spark in them, that little spitfire that's in children that makes them have no filter. I observe those things, and it's great. I work as a CNA and observe the elderly because I had one elderly guy tell me twice a baby, once a man. And during that time, it's like when they become elderly, they become the same no filter person that they were as a kid. And you started saying the same stuff that, you know, kids say that you're so shocked by, but as an elderly person, you get that same, you don't care anymore. But now, and so it's different. It's different when it hits you. Yeah. I love being a writer. I love learning to express myself through the pen. I really do.
I really like that.
And you do an excellent job, not only in expressing yourself through the pen, but just coming on this show and explaining yourself. You're very well articulated and you're very able to dive deep in. That's something I really appreciate as having you, not just as a member of our community, but specifically as a guest on the show, because you are very good at articulating the meaning and the depth of why you do what you do and why you write what you write. And that in and of itself is a skill that's admirable.
Thank you very much. Are you going to share some pieces?
Am I going to share some pieces? I was still trying to decide what I wanted to do. Did you have something for us, bro?
Yeah, I could. We could switch it up a little bit. So typically with the new setup, me and Dylan have been doing our pieces last toward the end of the show, but
Okay.
Yeah, for kind of convenience and time, it just has been fitting in that way. But then we're always like, we always do our pieces after we say goodbye to the guests. And then we're like, fuck, we didn't get anybody's opinion on this piece. How do we know if anyone liked this?
I absolutely adore your work. I love the anger. I love, it's not really anger, it's just passion.
exactly.
It really is. It's just passion about what you've gone through. It's really the same stuff that I write, just you put more emphasis on it. And it's always powerful. I observed you on somebody else's show, and I was just like, oh my God, when you're not hosting, you were just so relaxed and just so on point with your cadence, as you like to say. And I was just like, wow, like you're really talented. And you never really introduced me to Brendan.
Official introduction. This is Brendan Lawler, my older brother, otherwise known as Carnum. He helped me reinvigorate the show as well as reinvigorate myself and just he helped me be excited about it again. We developed this artwork, which I don't know if you've seen this, but we developed it using a mixture of our own genius and an AI prompting. And then we took that image and we sent it to Skedaddle and we had her redraw the entire image in her own image. And it came out way. You want to show her actually real quick? So the original that we had was that. And
Okay.
Skedaddle reimagined it completely into that, which I zoomed in on just for an aesthetic sake for the show. But up in the top right corner up here, you can see it in full. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
playing
It just helped me get excited about the show again. And yeah, I do have my brother to thank. Yeah.
That's good.
It goes both ways because, like we've talked about on previous episodes and whatnot, I never would have been able to or would have even thought of coming and doing anything like this, let alone sharing my pieces and stuff like that. So I have not only you, but this entire community and everything to thank for it as well. And maybe I didn't really introduce myself personally to you before because I do follow a lot of the stuff on the Lostboys page. So it feels like I already knew you a little bit as far as your artwork and stuff.
Okay.
But officially, I'm Brendan, the co-host.
Parnum.
That's what I was saying too. You watch someone, and especially someone who writes like she does and expresses like she does, and you feel like you know them. And you experience this a lot with musical artists, stuff like that. And a lot of musical artists will get weirded out that their fans like feel like they know them, but the real ones get it.
Yeah.
The real ones get it. And those are my favorite musical artists because they are the ones who see their idols and geek out. You know what I mean? And that is the best thing to see your idol geek out about their idol. But just when someone writes like she does, especially when she's posting every day and you can tell she's like just chilling, laying on her bed like this and gives off that very comfortable, almost motherly, just safe vibe. And then just sit down, let me tell you a story or let me tell you something like, and it's a very comforting, very human. And like I said, it draws you into this introspective space where you not only feel like you're getting to know the inner you, but thinking more about the inner me at the same time.
Absolutely.
You feel heard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've had people tell me that. I feel heard with you. And like you're actually listening. Because a lot of times you have conversations with people and they're not really listening to you. But with me, I get that a lot, especially when I work in the mental hospitals.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, a lot of the schizophrenics and things of that nature, they like me being there because they feel heard. Like I'm listening to what they're saying, I'm listening to their problems and stuff like that.
Absolutely. There's a big difference between hearing somebody and actually listening.
Yeah. My mom actually used to say that very frequently. And to relate, she was an LNA for about 11 years. She could have gotten her nurse's degree if she didn't have a child to raise, but she specialized in dementia and people with various forms of dementia. So she worked mostly in old folks' homes and stuff like that. That was why she was one of their favorites. She was someone who always made you feel heard, made you feel accepted. We had this one lady, I called her the Hi Honey lady because I don't know if you've ever seen 50 First Dates with Tom, where it's like, hi, I'm Tom. Every couple of minutes, this lady would space out and then be like, hi, honey. And it's the most adorable thing ever. And she'll forget you're there. And it is a little sad, but my mom found the adorableness and the happiness in it rather than the sadness. What was so great about her is she made people feel like they were understood, even if they were jibber jabbering about nonsense that happened like 40 years ago, but couldn't remember what happened 3 seconds ago. And she found the beauty and the life in that. And it sounds like you do the same with your patients. Thank you for your service. You know what? We thank military a lot for their service, but very rarely do we thank fucking nurses and doctors and psychiatrists. Very rarely do we thank them for their service, especially when it comes to children or old people.
They're really the ones
that's a
behind the
very-
scenes keeping us all together.
Yeah. After COVID, we've been getting a lot of recognition.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
A lot of people, they say thank you for your service and stuff like that, especially after something so tragic. So yeah, it's happening out there, slowly but surely, but it's happening out there.
That's good because it's really, as someone who was raised by a nurse, I've always been like that. But it sucks that it took the rest of the country, a worldwide pandemic, for us to start thanking doctors that have been working for hundreds of years. Doctors and nurses who've been a part of the infrastructure of keeping our fucking country and world alive for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten thanks until a worldwide pandemic. That's great. Yeah.
That's America.
Yeah. Land of the something. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I have a piece that relates to that. We'll see. But if you want to go first, by all means, or do you want me to pop it?
Yeah, no.
We're cool.
All right.
I'll get us out of here.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is called Wheel of the Week, spelled WEAK. They say that time heals all wounds, but I've been counting scars, not seconds. So let's start with Sunday, the first line we swallow. Sunday, the first breath. Born from silence, kissed by light. The calm before the world takes bite. A moment's grace, a sacred hush, before the gears begin to crush. Monday, the grindstone's curse. The weight returns, the echo groans. You drag your soul like shattered bone. The sun still shines, but it doesn't warm. Your armor clad for a workday storm. Tuesday, the false prophet. Promise whispered in caffeine lies, but all you find are tired eyes. You said, I got this, with a grin, but Tuesday smirked and reeled you in. Wednesday, the spine of the beast. Midway through the demon's maw, half alive and stuck in claw. They call it hump day, cute facade. This is where the weak praise gods. Thursday, the hollowed hope. You taste the weekend on your tongue, but still the siren song's unsung. You fake the smile, suppress the ache. Thursday's the needle that makes you break. Friday, the masked messiah. You feel reborn in 5 o'clock's kiss, but no damn it's borrowed bliss. The chains loosen, but not undone, and still you bleed beneath the fun. Saturday, the Sabbath of sinners. Now here's the day where gods don't judge, where drinks pour fast and hearts won't budge. The veil thins low, the nights burn long. Saturday's hymn, a blackout song. This ain't a week, it's a ritual reel, a dance through shadow, blood, and steel. So spin it round and take your seat. We break, we burn, and then we repeat. And that is Wheel of the Week.
Wow.
Dude, I love that. I love that fucking piece. And I love that it just illustrates the most basic human thing that we all go through, which is just the weekly fucking grind, man. And nobody talks because everybody's just like, oh, that's life. We just say that's life because that is life. And whether you fucking bitch about it or not, you still have to go and do it. You still have to get through the week. Talking about it ain't gonna fucking make it go by any quicker or anything like that, right? I love how that poem really talks about how much that weekly grind can really grind down your fucking soul, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I really love how you illustrate that in that piece.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was very powerful. It was like poems within poems because that's exactly how you feel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And when you work a schedule that isn't the Monday through Friday and you are working that Saturday, that's the feeling that you feel. When you could be outside in the sunshine, that's the feeling that you feel. You're not in the Sabbath, but that's what everybody is doing and that's what you're thinking about. And then Sunday comes back around and oh God, we got to go back to Monday. And then poem that you wrote for the day of the week was the feeling that people who work and grind feel every day.
And that's the other thing I like about that piece too, is that each segment was its own poem, like she said. And something I try to do poetically and artistically is I try to make each line of something I wrote stand out on its own, or each few lines stand out as something as its own, where if I grabbed that, copied and pasted it to like Facebook or Insta or something like that, people would get meaning from just that one line. People would
Right.
understand it's a poem in and of itself. And you, I can see that you do the same thing as far as that painstaking time you take to put in to make sure that each line is impactful.
Words are power.
That being said, we do finally have our second guest of the night. Please, everybody, welcome Poetless Shakespeare. Welcome back to the circle. What up?
Hey everybody, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. How's it going?
It is wonderful.
Doing good, doing good. I have already introduced you a little bit, and a lot of us already know you, but for those of us who don't know you, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, by all means.
Hi, I'm Poetless Shakespeare. I'm a poet, actress, writer, a little bit of, you might as well say I'm a director, etc., etc., etc. But most importantly, I'm just a dope person with dope bars, so that's all I can say. That's all I
That
am
she
in a
is.
nutshell.
Yes, very dope person with very dope bars. We definitely already mentioned you in the What's Poppin' segment as well. So yeah, make sure you go check out her books on Amazon. So now that we have everyone here, who would like to go next in the rotation? Are you pointing at me, Brendan? You're pointing at me, aren't you?
I actually had my hands just sitting here, but
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought you were like, I thought you were supposed to be like, you, bro, you should go. But I do actually have one pulled up here, and it is short. We'll do that, and then I guess we can have Miss Niela do her second piece before we let Poetless get into it, and we'll just let her do hers back to back. Cool? All right. So this piece is called In God We Trust. And I am saying many things in this piece, but keep in mind, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, I am not someone who is religious in the typical sense, but I do have a relationship with the universe and with my version of God. And this poem is about that I trust my God and my relationship with the universe more than particularly our government, but pretty much any human being. This is In God We Trust. They say religion is the word of God and that God is fair and just. But if you swear allegiance to the Bible or the flag, then it's in man you trust. They ask if I believe in God. I ask if God believes in us. Our envy, greed, and sloth have been outweighed by only lust. We use God's name to make the claim that we should rise above. We take and take and take, and it never is enough. Then we pray to be forgiven when we've taken far too much. So when they ask if I believe, I really don't say much. That's between my God and me, because it's in God I trust. And that is in God we trust.
Nice. I really like that. You shared that with me previous, like literally right before we came on the show. I love that. It's short and sweet, but it is awesome. And it really is introspective as well.
It really is. I absolutely enjoyed it because I think everybody's going through a time where we're all thinking about, are we praising God or are we praising man, or are we praising items and materialism? So that puts perspective on what everybody's thinking and what everybody's going through right now, especially in this unrest time in America right now. So everybody's going through it, and that's a good short and sweet poem that put a big question mark on everybody. Yeah, I'm asking that same question too.
It is also to say, I've never needed, and I don't think anyone should ever need, a church to pray. If that's how you pray, by all means. I'm not knocking how anyone prays, but I just believe that at the end of the day, it's between you and your relationship with God. And that obviously it's saying a lot of things and it's trying to say them all in this short little piece, but it was just inspired by, I was at some event or something, parade or something, and we like stood up to do the Pledge of Allegiance, which I hadn't done since elementary school. And I was just thinking, and it's going to upset some people, but I was sitting there doing the allegiance and I was like, feels like a cult chant, not gonna lie. I haven't done it since I was in elementary school, but now that I'm doing it again, I'm like, this kind of feels like a cult chant. But yeah, that was my inspiration for that.
Nice. I really like that though.
Thank you.
I think when you talk about religion, everybody feels that way. I think that's something that you just can't talk about. And everybody feels, if you talk about religion, then you're one sided. But if you would just sit down and talk to the person, you don't know what you may learn about something. And I've
Absolutely.
learned that me just listening and understanding other people's point of view more so than my own, I've learned a lot as far as religion and being spiritual. It's like everything ties in, but nobody really want to take the time to really digest it and really get to the meat and potatoes of it. So it's always going to be something that's going to step on people's toes when we talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
It really is.
Because I think we all bring it up. I think we all bring up our God in everything that we do, but you got to know perspective.
Mhm.
Those religious people who go by what they're taught in church, but then there's people who are just, that's why I always say I'm spiritual, because I believe in a higher power. That's just all there is. Somebody created this at the end of the day, and that's just what I believe. Like somebody created this, and whatever, somebody's having a good time with the song. It's just about it's just about actually intertwining and actually connecting with somebody and getting to know their perspective, because their perspective may not be the church that they were taught in, and even they don't realize that. And sometimes it wakes other religious people up too. Oh, maybe I don't believe in this, and maybe I don't, because you're being taught by a man just over something that you can read yourself. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so somebody's having a good time with the song. So
Sometimes I imagine that it's like that fucking, I don't know if you've ever seen Men in Black 2. Yeah, it's Men in Black 2 where they have the sack full of marbles and they're all planets.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sometimes I like to imagine that. Or like when he opens up that locker and it's like, they're like, Jay, the all-powerful Jay, and they're all living, their whole world is like inside this little fucking locker, stuff like that. There's this really abstract fantasy series. It's called Discworld. Not a lot of people have heard of it, but it plays with the theory that all of humankind and existence is resting somehow on the back of a giant space turtle. It's really out there. It's really out there, man. Who fucking knows? Who knows? We could be on the back of a space
Anything
turtle.
is possible.
anything is possible. Exactly. That is so true. I don't put limitations.
I don't disregard anything that people say. Exactly.
Now, off that too, I wanted to say that there is within your blood, if you look down at your wrist and you see those blue veins going through, the hemoglobin inside, there's material that is only found outside of the human body. It is only found in stars. So remember, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, you have the power of the stars inside of you.
That's
Every
a
day.
fucking clip and a half. Not expecting that tonight. Hell yeah. Dropping bombs of fucking wisdom on us. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna have to write that. That's a power
Right.
of the.
Huh.
Never knew that.
You carry the power of the stars in your blood. Wow. And you know what though, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that not only just as us as artists, but us as human beings, we are conduits for the universe. Everything from the trees to the rocks to the sun and the moon and the planets, we're part of that and it's part of us. There would be no us without the collision of planets. That's just from a scientific standpoint, not even religious. Like, we are literally of the
Right.
same matter. Yeah, no, but that's a really interesting fact that our blood, or part of our blood, is made up of an element of the stars.
Essentially,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's
That's cool.
certain materials within our blood that is only found elsewhere in the creation of stars.
That's dope. I really like that.
Wow.
That being said, we have some stars of our own tonight to get back to. So I'm going to have Miss Niela with her second piece. I have Spirit of Love up here that she's going to read for us.
Drop us out.
Thank you. This one's short and sweet. It's called The Spirit of Love. It actually aligns with Dylan's In God We Trust. So here's another perspective. This poem is called The Spirit of Love. I look at all things through the eyes of love. That's how I know if you love me. Love is something to be considered when wanting to integrate the world. Do we all think alike? No. Yet, we all want love in a way that's timeless. Do we all read and interpret words the same? Yet, we all read these books that built religions on. Do we all love the same? That's a no. So, how do we all live in a society that's built for one ruling with a mindset, for one race, but not for all? The spirit of love is to look at things and situations in the eyes of love, which considers all, allowing no other than the fact that everyone is satisfied and happy. If happiness isn't your goal, you don't have the spirit of love. That poem is called The Spirit of Love.
I like that. Honestly, it makes you question everything about yourself and how you feel about love. And it was actually funny that you did that piece, because me and Brendan before the show were talking about something very similar in how love is neither good nor bad. It just is. And it is the biggest question of human existence besides maybe death. I find it very hard to write about love and write about, I guess, the spirit of love. But I also feel as if, even if it's a depressed poem, even if it's an angry poem, I use the spirit of love in my own writing, though it may not sound like it's lovey-dovey. And you covered this in your piece a little bit. The spirit of love is not just love for others, love for yourself, love for the world, love for the universe. I use the spirit of love in my writing, even when it's a darker piece. And that's what I wish a lot more people understood, is that you can find love and beauty in some of the darkest crevices, because the spirit of love flows through everything. And you put that very well in your piece.
Yeah, I really like that. And like Dylan was saying, it's very introspective as well. Love is, at least in my view, it is based off of perception, right? The way you love may not be the way that I love, may not be the way that they love. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But that doesn't mean that it's any less love.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean one is correct or one is wrong. It's all in perception.
Yeah. That's what that poem's saying. That is. That's exactly what it's saying.
I think people lose connection with love because it's like you don't know how to look at love because you see so many views of love that you get attached to the one that you feel is you. So when it comes down to love, I think you really explain it. Like you said, it's how you feel and what you make it. But a lot of people always try to put their views on love on you. I don't know. But I think it just gets back to the connection with yourself within first. You got to bring that out of you before you can expect it or get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With that being said, I will get us on over to Miss Poetless here for her couple pieces.
One of them is going to be a clouded mind. That's going to be the first piece. And the second piece is going to be called Who Are You to Be Society's Messenger? I swear the best time that I feel connected is when I'm high and often off the walls. But see, some nights be different because I sit there and I feel like I'm in an interview. And the first question that I'm always asked, who are you? And since it's an interview that's been weighing heavy on my head, I still don't know. But then there's some questions that I need to ask myself. Do I really need to know who I am in order to grow into who I want to be? Do I really need to be prepared for something that I don't even know to exist is going to happen? Is it okay for me not to have energy to deal with myself when all I want to do is get away from myself? But see, those kind of questions you can't ask without somebody looking at you sideways and having to question your identity, who you are. Am I supposed to ask questions? But see, that's when I have to go to therapy and everything just seems to come up because I feel safe there. Out of 20 soul therapists, out of going in and out of places that I really wish I didn't have to go, I always feel safe now in therapy. The one place that I hated to go because I know I don't feel bad for asking questions of who I am. It's okay to be clouded in a room where there's no smoke even involved, but that's how you feel because you're so bombarded with questions that sometimes may not even have the answers to, but yet somehow you still seem to be have enough courage to ask these questions. I'm not saying that I'm looking for the answers, but sometimes every now and then it may feel good to know that there's something out there that I can look forward to, even if it doesn't happen. So as I sit here in my clouded mind, I always often say, one of these clouds is going to burst the answers that I need. Until then, I'll be looking for each cloud and just enjoying the view in peace. They told me I wasn't pretty enough or tall enough, so I couldn't be in a fashion show. I'm not understanding why that is because beauty is a form of art, but yet it's also in the eye of the beholder. So maybe someone is not looking with my eyes. But then when I want to get those questions, I ask anyone, who is society? Why do I have to be five, slim build, flawless skin, hair always done, nails always done, face beat, not even in my DNA? So when I feel like I'm in the Wizard of Oz and I have to go down this brick road of asking someone that no one seems to know, who is society? Why haven't nobody called this person to the front? Or are they so consumed in their insecurity they put it out on us just to make them feel bad? Is there a person behind the screen, behind a mascara that always make us feel insecure because the shade will never be bright enough? It will never be good enough. It's never going to be flawless enough for people not to know that I have insecurities. I want to be the first one to talk to society. Maybe if I can get into their mind the way they get into my mind, maybe we'll be okay. But who are you to question who I am and make me feel low about who I am? I'll be looking for society. Until then, I will always be pretty enough to be tall enough to walk on anybody's runway, to be on anybody's magazine because I am my own society. And peace.
Wow.
Yeah. So first of all, with that first piece, I just wanted to say I love how honest and raw you are.
Mhm.
You are always the epitome of the word raw. When I think of, oh, that's some raw shit, that's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just open and honest and bleeding onto the page. Literally your heart and soul onto the page, pulling back the curtain and not being ashamed of what's behind the curtain. That is phenomenal. And I also want to say congratulations on being able to be in therapy and have it work for you, because I think the thing about therapy is you have to want it to work, right? And you have to trust the process and trust not only the person you're talking to, but trust yourself when talking and trust
Exactly.
yourself to be able to talk about these things. And I saw that you mentioned in that piece that you're coming to a place now where you can sit down in therapy and be as raw as you are in your poems across from the therapist. And it's an enormous step.
I try to.
And then for the second one, you brought it back around to that same sense of self-empowerment. I loved how it was more of a question to society, question to our world, and like calling people out on their bullshit. And who the fuck are you to tell me what is normal? Who the fuck are you to tell me what is right? Who the fuck are you to tell me how to look, how to dress, how to write, how to act? Who the fuck are you? I'm not going to quote the Bible because I can't remember the quote, but it's something about casting the first stone And I'm pretty sure all of us are living in a
Right,
fucking
right,
glass
right.
house. That's what I'm saying. Is I'm pretty sure all of us are living in a glass house, and that poem really calls out the fact that it's the world, and especially our country in particular, is built on hypocrisy. Take a look in the fucking mirror and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And let me be me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, who said you can't wear polka dots with stripes?
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the one who says it? Both the poems, like Dylan said, were very raw and very much open. I think everybody's going through a stage in life where they're going through therapy and trial in their life, and then everybody needs somebody to talk to. And then everybody's mind's a little clouded right now because you're being filled, and it's like the wool is being taken off of everybody's eyes, and it's just seeing the reality of the world today. And it's just those poems just reflect it so hard, like you can't ignore it anymore. You know what I'm saying? There are those that, especially, it's bad because I don't want to bring up anything about America and stuff like that, but it's on everybody's tip of their tongue right now. You know, that they're bringing so much rest and racism and all this crap in our faces. And those who know how to integrate and be normal with each other, you're starting to look at these people like, I went to school with some of you people. I was in class with you. And this is your opinion. This is how you actually think. You don't see what we see, that wool being taken off your eyes. And a clouded mind was definitely reflective of that, just as much as who are you? What was it? Who are you to?
Be society's messenger.
Yeah, who are you to be society's messenger? And
Right.
it's like they both intermingled with each other. It's one answered the other. It's like the clouded mind because everybody needs therapy, and then this is why you need therapy. This is why, because you're being forced and choked with so much crap. So both those
Yeah.
poems were just great. They were really great, and they answered each other. It was like you should have read the clouded mind second because that one's like the aftermath of what we're going through. And so, yeah, they were great poems. Very great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very powerful, very powerful. And then it goes back to what we were talking about previous to you doing your pieces too. Everybody is so caught up with a specific doctrine or like how society presents a thing. And there's no right or wrong, and to listen to somebody else's opinion or to what society pushes on us and everything, it's insane. And not only society, not only this country, but people as a whole nowadays.
Yeah.
It's definitely makes you question a lot of things. Very powerful pieces.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It is stuff that people don't talk about that I feel like it needs to be brought out. And if not, you keep holding it in, then it's just going to hurt even more. I'm not the only one who feels like this. So I know if I bring it to the forefront, then somebody's going to be like, you know what? I feel the same way too. So it's going to have to get answered eventually. Something's going to have to change.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what this whole community is about. You know what I mean? Is being able to share those thoughts, have these conversations with like-minded individuals, and that opens up the door for everybody else that maybe is a little too scared to confront it by themselves or straight off the bat. It opens that door to be like, hey, you're not the only one struggling with this. You're not the only one having these thoughts. And in doing so, maybe we'll be able to actually, like you had said, pull the wool off the eyes.
Yeah.
Pull back the curtain.
Exactly.
And that's, I will just say that this show is very much not afraid. And from the beginning, I wanted it to be foundationally not afraid of pulling back the curtain and not ashamed of what's behind it. When I first started this show, just a little backstory for people who don't know. When I first started this show, it was my attempt to do what many others at the time, and both then and now, are doing poetry shows. And a lot of our guests in general are poets. But when I first started this, I had the idea to bring not only poets to the table, or to the circle, I should say, the round table, not only poets, but authors and musicians and painters. And I wanted it to be all inclusive because I knew that, one, there's strength in numbers, and two, that there are like-minded people in all those groups. And I wanted to reach into the little crevices. And this is built of people from all different little crevices of the world. And I like to peek behind the curtain, peek into all walks of life and see that we're all the same at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of any way to do that other than having it be what it is. Trust me, I faced a lot of skepticism when I first started in terms of, oh, that's going to divide up your audience, and YouTube and Spotify like more directed audience, and what are you going to market it as if it's not specifically a poet show, and it's going to be hard to market it in, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, for me, what separates this show from any other show is the ability to include anyone and everyone without exception. The main thing that we provide here is a sense of comfort, a sense of safety, and family is what those words really mean to me, right? And that is what I am not really marketing, but that at the end of the day is what I'm selling. I'm basically selling you my love and acceptance, right? And not that this show is at all monetized. Maybe one day it will be, but that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Is it's a show about people using their art to express themselves and feeling like they can express themselves safely and free of judgment and connect with other people who think and feel the same. That's the core of the show. Sorry, that was a little spiel there. But with that being said, we have one little thing that we like to do before we say goodbye to our artists and let them go. And we call it goalpost. And it is where we like to set an artistic goal and a personal goal, something that we're working towards artistically and something that we're working towards for ourselves. Brendan, you can kick us off, man.
All right. Artistically, I really need to, I've been taking a break from writing my book, and I've talked about it a little bit on the other episodes, but I've had a lot going on in my personal life and whatnot. So I've stepped away a little bit from writing, but artistically, my goal, I really would like to start fleshing out a lot more and just writing a lot more with my book. As far as personal goal, right now, actually, I guess the best personal goal, I need to get realigned with work. I need to find another job and just start. Not that I've really been like procrastinating, but I've had a lot going on, and I put that on the back burner the past week or two. So that's my personal goal. Just start getting back to work.
All right. I guess that leaves it to me. So for an artistic goal, I'm going to say that I really want to get back into, some of you may know, and I'm speaking to our YouTube viewers. When I first started this YouTube channel, it was pieces that I had been writing, recording, and putting out with some artwork that I designed myself. And I just started the show and stopped putting out solo pieces on the channel. And that's something I'd really like to start getting into. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. This ties into my personal goal as well. I'm working on getting a new laptop, and by working on making myself wait, making myself save up the money, and making myself feel like I've earned it. But damn, this laptop is old, 10 years, and I need an upgrade. I'm getting a more powerful laptop that will be able to record songs and edit videos and edit songs a lot better. And so I'm hoping with that, that'll be what reinvigorates me and gets me back into the lab, so to speak. So that's my artistic goal. And my personal goal, which kind of ties into the whole laptop thing, is time and money management, but mostly time. I've been feeling like I need to write more things down and like an exact what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, just so I know and I have a clear schedule, not just when it comes to the show, but my personal life as well. And it does kind of suck that I have to like schedule time with my family, but that kind of is a reality of adult life. And yeah, I just want to make sure I'm balancing artistic work, family, and balancing it properly so that I'm not doing any of those an injustice. So yeah, time management is my personal goal. And we'll go left to right in America. So we'll go poetless.
My artistic goal is to learn how to play the guitar. I've been putting it off for 4 years. I bought a guitar and it's been sitting there. So in the next 3 months, I want to get focused, maybe get 1 or 2 lessons out the week. But I really want to get focused and do something more with my art. So that's the new goal that I'm trying to reach. I think that might help with my poetry and my delivery. My personal goal is get more aligned. Can I feel like my balance and my energy just, I don't know, just been everywhere. So I need to spend more focus on trying to balance and get more grounded within myself. So that's a personal goal of mine.
Okay, I guess that's me. My artistic goal is to definitely promote myself more and to finish the second part of my book. I'm doing a series of Symphony's Quest. It started out as a book series, a fantasy book series, but it turned into a poetry book. I have the first installment already on Amazon, but I have a second installment that I just haven't typed up. So definitely to focus on that book and making that series and start promoting myself more because I don't promote myself enough, especially in my town. I'm in Portland and I have to find all the poetry slams and all that stuff and get out there. Personal goal is just to feel that I'm worthy to be acknowledged and worthy to be heard.
I
So
like
that is-
that. I really like that personal goal. And because with you being someone, as we talked about earlier, who provides that service to others, I think you can't provide love and comfort to anyone else if you're not providing love and comfort to yourself. So I think that's great. And as far as feeling worthy,
Mhm.
I saw this can opener on Amazon that's shaped like Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and it has "Whosoever worthy of the power of Thor shall wield this hammer" engraved on it. So you could get that. That might help with the confidence boost.
That sounds pretty cool. That actually sounds cool.
And as far as promoting yourself, by all means, and this goes for both of you, please feel free to shoot me a message at any time. Anything you have going on, anything you're putting out, anything at all. That's what the What's Poppin' segment is for. That's what we dedicated it to. And again, those episodes come out every single Monday rather than every other week like these. So it will stay mostly up to date with the current episode. So the current What's Poppin' episode will be a sneak peek of episode to come, is essentially the way it will work. So we'll try to keep it updated. And if there's something that it's like crunch time, we need to let everybody know right now, send it to me. I'll pop it on the Lost Boys page and all the other groups that I'm part of. Yeah, no, feel free to send me anything at any time, and I'll definitely try to get it out there as much as I can. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for being part of the community. You guys are what makes this what it is. I couldn't do it without you. And Lost Boys in general, but specifically you two have been cornerstones and foundations of this show and of this community. And thank you so much for everything you've done and everything you've given to this community.
Thank you so much. I enjoy being here, so I'm glad you're back.
Good to be
It's
back.
definitely been an honor and a pleasure to have you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for the safe place.
Yeah, the
course.
safe space.
Definitely eager to hear more about you guys' project and your goals and everything, and looking forward to having you guys back.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you later, and make sure to go check out your episode when it comes out.
Nice.
Damn, man. I gotta tell you, and I know I say this every time, I'm a broken fucking record, right? Some of my favorite guests. They knew I was gonna say it. I gave it a moment so everybody who's watching on their phones at home could be like, some of his favorite guests we know. But no, for real, man. It goes to show how much of like family I feel like these people are. That sense of community goes beyond an interview. When they come on my show, it's particularly those two, and these people make me feel like I'm just hanging out with friends. Like I can be myself, like I can express myself. And that's why it is a circle, not because it's a circle of people, but because the love comes back around. It's a give and take. It's like they're providing the same thing to me. My guests and my audience are providing the same thing to me that I'm trying to provide to them. A safe place to express yourself, a safe place to be yourself. And I think everyone can tell by now that I am much more of a poet than a host. But I step out of my comfort zone and I do what I do because of the love I have for art and the people who make it, and that I see myself in them, and that I see so much potential in them. And yeah, man, it is amazing to have guests and conversations like that.
Oh, seriously.
That is the reason I got into this, to open a dialogue like that.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. They're both amazing artists in their own right. And definitely look forward to having them back and seeing what else they're up to.
And I love how, don't get me wrong, I have heard a lot of their pieces, and you will get your variety in their pieces. But on the whole, I thought it was a great dichotomy that we had set up here with the two of them, because they are both artists who are very similar, strongly opinionated, talented women. So they have that in common. Well, they may be as impactful in their own ways, both introspective but very in a different way. You know what I mean? They are both reaching into your soul and pulling you in, right? It's that come here, right? It's that same, I have something to tell you. This is something, like Poetless said, maybe something you don't want to talk about, but something that needs to be said. And I'm going to be the one to say it to you because I have that power and I'm exercising that power. And they are both artists that embody that essence of pulling you in, but they do it in different ways. And as far as a viewing perspective, it was great to watch the energy bounce back and forth while staying on that same kind of guitar chord, that same vibration. Because one of the things we talk about is like we come to the table with pieces that we don't know what each other are doing, but they all end up kind of melding together. We find a common ground. We find that there is commonality in all of the things that we in particular wanted to talk about tonight, and how they feed into each other and relate to each other without us planning it out.
And we are
exactly. It is. You ever gone to work and your friend is wearing like the same outfit as you?
Yep.
It's like that, but on a so much grander level, that we can all have our own styles, our own deliveries, our own cadence, our own way of doing things. But at the end of the day, we're all on that same vibration, that same tone. And again, I'll reiterate, that is what I made this show for, what I made this community for, what I always hoped it would be. And it's astonishing to see that it has become that. And we've talked a lot about love, but for a second, I did want to touch on trust, because they do go hand in hand, but
yes,
it takes a lot of trust to let a host or someone who's, let's be honest, 20 years younger than most of the people that he hosts do what he does, which I hate speaking about myself in the third person, but it takes a lot of trust to trust someone that young, that inexperienced, that you may not even know. For a lot of these artists, when I first bring them on, just immediately it's like we just click and we're like family, we're friends, and it's like one of my first times even talking to the person. And that's as much on my part as it is on theirs. This show would be nothing without those people putting that trust in me, that I'm not going to embarrass them, or I'm not going to show them in a bad light, or that there's not going to be any kind of judgment from anyone else. And they take that on blind faith a lot of the time, because I meet up with these people on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, through the messaging apps, and it's blind faith. And goddamn if it doesn't fucking turn out perfect every goddamn time.
Well, it really does. And it takes a lot of love and trust within yourself too, to be able to come on and share some of these pieces, because they all are like incredibly deep, incredibly powerful, and it's showing you a piece of them, right? It's like they're ripping their heart out and handing it to you. And they're like, hey, these are my words. So I just want to thank every single one of you for that love and trust. And you are all absolutely worthy. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of connection. And you are above and beyond worthy of being heard. Really is an amazing thing what you're doing here with the show and with this community. And I've put my blind faith in you since day one, man.
And actually, I believe that was Neela's goal, but it goes doubly for.
Well, yeah, it
goes doubly for any of you. You are worthy, and if you've ever watched Thor, by the end of the movie, what he discovers is that he needs to feel worthy himself. He needs to prove that to himself that he's worthy. At the beginning of the movie, you think it's about him proving to his father that he's worthy, but that is not what the movie's about. And really, I said that as a funny joke, but it's funny how art, and especially comic books, mimic reality a lot of the time and show us pieces of ourselves. Because you could say that comic books and Marvel movies and stuff like that, those are the legends of today. Those are the Hercules, the Pericles, those are the heroes of today. And those stories were always not only meant to entertain, meant to teach a lesson and put up a mirror. And that's honestly what we do as artists. And I love how this kind of ties back in. Again, that's what we do as artists, is we hold up a mirror with our writing and we show the world themselves, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that stories today and movies today, at least the fucking good ones that aren't washed out Hollywood just trying to make a buck, are today's versions of those legends. And yeah, take some fucking hints from Thor, man. Take some hints from fucking Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
To be worthy, you must first be worthy of yourself. These are great fucking lessons. And yeah, but I think with that being said, we are getting there on time tonight. One more thing before we get out of here. Make sure you guys go check out, first and foremost, Lostboys Cypher Circle, what's popping every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then
these episodes will be coming out
every other Saturday at 9 a.m. So make sure you go check out what's popping again every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern and every other Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Check out these full-length Lostboys Cypher Circle episodes. And make sure you go subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out extra clips on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And we have full-length episodes on YouTube and Spotify. And also make sure to please go into our Lost Boys group on Facebook and join it, be a part of our community. Because again, that is the most important part of everything we do here, is building the community. And again, don't forget to like and leave a comment. I promise you, every comment goes so far. And thank you all, by the way, for smashing our fucking goal. Our second episode of this season has become our fastest growing and most watched episode of Lost Boys history. So thank you guys for that. Let's keep it strong. Let's keep it going. Make sure you drop that like, drop that comment, and we got more coming to you soon. If you are an artist and you want to be a guest on the show, please contact me on Facebook at Dylan Lawler or on TikTok at Dylan Lawler /LostBoy420X. You can also shoot me an email at lostboy420x@gmail.com. And then my boy Carnum over here has his Facebook, Brendan Lawler. You guys can drop the Lala Boys an email or a text. And again, any and all artists are welcome. And yeah, man. Oh, you want to plug that? Go ahead.
Sure. Anything from 10 cents, $10, whatever you have, even if it's spare wishes. You can donate at Cash App, LostBoys420X. And that's the same on PayPal as well. Thank you again.
We appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much. And we will catch you next time. Deuces!